Hey y'all, this is Lydia. I'm gonna do an intuitive pull just for today's energies and just to get a little reading in. I've been threatening to do this for a while and I've been putting it off, so we're gonna do it now. I've already shuffled the decks and I'm using the Fountain Tarot, which even after all the shuffling, the bottom card is the same as when it started, which is the King of Coins, because we are building foundations right now. We are building an energetic foundation within ourselves in order to build something in the material world moving forward into 2022 and really this decade at large. The first half of this decade, there's still going to be a lot in the reductive sense of things coming down, things being dismantled. But at the same time, new things are going to be invented, new things are going to start coming into play, and things that have been on the fringes will start becoming more mainstream. The first thing that comes to mind is cryptocurrency. I think that's going to blow up in massive ways, as well as NFTs and things of that nature, Aquarian things, because we are in an Aquarius cycle. But, whatever is coming up right now is clearing the way so that we can be in that stability, so that we can build in a sustainable way and not necessarily, for me personally, I was a hustler. I hustled hard in my 20s with little to nothing to show for it afterward. And there's a lot that's been crumbling in my own life to build a new foundation of showing up sustainably, not going into workaholic behaviors, but really being in my full life force and my full vitality and my full creative energy and really go for it, but at the same time not burn out, not blow myself out, not chase my own tail and find myself going down rabbit holes that really aren't meant for me. And that's how the stability is going to be playing out for a lot of us. A lot of our old patterning and how we used to move forward and how we used to build in the world and create in the world is changing, and we're being encouraged to really allow that to change in dramatic ways. And the bottom of the deck for this one, which I forget the name of this deck. It is the Sacred Destiny Oracle deck and Voyage. So we're all setting out on new voyages. We're all setting out on new stories. And this isn't happening in a one and done process. It isn't happening in a linear process either. This has been energy that's been surrounding us for quite some time. And again, from the perspective of the decade, and even from the perspective of the next 20 years as we're in this Saturn-Jupiter cycle in Aquarius, we are manifesting a whole new voyage for ourselves, a whole new way of operating, and a whole new way of being. And again, we're being encouraged to really let things change in dramatic ways. Let new things come into our lives. Allow ourselves to be different. If something doesn't ring the way it used to, just put it aside and let that space lie empty for a while and see what happens. See something naturally, organically materialize to take its place, and not necessarily always be in, well, I need results now, but rather being in the journey process and being in process, knowing that everything comes and goes as it's meant to. And we're really, if we're in balance and we're in flow, there's really no clinging, clutching that we need to do, no forcing, but we can find that the energy will come when it needs to, and then we'll rest when we need to as well. And for the Wild Unknown Archetypes deck, we have the Mirror. So comparisons, comparing what we need to be doing to what other people are doing. If we're seeing, people around us getting married, buying houses, getting their dream job, traveling, but we feel like we're not, it's, we're being encouraged to put those mirrors down. Whatever process you're in right now is the process that's meant for you. So I'm going to pull 4 cards. Nice. So we have the Moon, the King of Wands, passionate creativity, intuition, and, our deeper creative energies, our more primordial, our more nature-based creative energies. So what we're creating in any given moment, whether that be our mood, our interactions, our thoughts. And this is more, this is more enterprising, what we're creating outside of ourselves and really shining our light into the world. And then we also have the Page of Wands, who's really excited to do that. Perhaps not the most experienced, but she's ready and she's enthusiastic. And she's also very imaginative and ready to just really break free and burst forward and kind of learn as you go type energy. And then the Emperor, structure. And the structure we need in order to show up sustainably, and also the structure we need to protect our creativity, I'm getting. And with these waters here, this also deals with our fears and fears we might have around, whatever's coming up. It could be fear of rejection, fear of being wrong, fear of being ostracized. With Black Moon Lilith at 21, about to click to 22, or it may have already clicked to 22 degrees of Gemini, that's fears around our thoughts, fearful thoughts, and also chaotic thoughts, and thoughts that really bring us into an energetic and even an emotional space that doesn't serve us. So we're letting go of fears right now so that we can step boldly forward. And that's a theme and a message that's been coming through hard lately, is being bold in our action, to step boldly forward and to really be ourselves unapologetically, so long as we're coming from the highest love within ourselves. And the only way to really do that is to love ourselves fully, because when we treat ourselves with the highest of love and deep devotional self-love, how we express in the outside world and how we interact with others is also going to be loving. Especially if we're doing shadow work, this also deals with our shadow, because when we accept parts of ourselves we don't like, we can also accept parts of others that rub us the wrong way. And knowing that that's just a vibrational difference and it doesn't need to be judged, but it does need to be accepted if we want to be in balance and harmony with the world outside of us. And, really being okay with learning as you go, being okay with not having it mastered, being okay with, figuring things out and not judging yourself when you behave in a way or respond in a way that isn't of the highest light. And you're like, why did I do that? But actually being like, okay, I did that. What is that telling me about what I'd like to work on, what I'd like to change, where I need to love myself more? And as we do that, we'll build the structure naturally and organically. And that's something I've also learned on my own journey, that it doesn't have to be something we need to figure out right now, but it's something we learn as we go. And when we really treat life as a journey and don't judge whether we're in an ebb or a flow, or whether we're in contraction or expansion, we find ourselves really coming into a natural stability that really doesn't require much effort outside of being aware. And if we're aware, we're naturally going to start being more aware of how we want to behave differently and really making those choices from a wiser, more stable place. And success. So if we commit to this awareness, if we commit to being okay with whatever presents in our lives, being okay with expressing ourselves fully and accepting that, not everyone's going to respond the way we want them to. We're not necessarily going to burst forward in the ways we expect, but there's unknown and hidden magic there. There's a sense too that, yeah, if we lead ourselves into the future, we will be successful and not have to worry about things not turning out the way we wanted to, like in the past. We're in different energy now. There's much to do about us moving forward, knowing that even if it doesn't play out the way we expect or the way we want it, it's always going to play out better than we expect and better than we want, if we allow it to be that way and we don't go into resistance or trying to force fit things, but to really be accepting in how things play out, so long as we're doing our part to show up. Yeah, and then wonders will appear in our lives, and we'll have more wonder in how we view the world as well. Because when we really experience that magic, it also shifts our belief structure and shifts the way we view the world. And we start viewing the world in more wonder, and we're in more wonder, which also helps us with our creativity, so that we can be more innovative and be different and really put down things that aren't working anymore, and being okay with that, even if it's something that's always been a part of our lives. And to protect that and to nurture it and to nurture ourselves and to be a parent to ourselves. In a spiritual journey, the first thing that comes up is parenting yourself and being that parent to yourself that your parents or your guardians weren't, and not really holding on to that as a trauma or a hurt anymore, but really allowing it to be healing, to being like, you're going to be for yourself, here for yourself now, moving forward, right? And knowing that you are the gem, and that whatever you need is within you, and that if you really are being present and being self-loving and being nurturing, you do burst out into whole new energy. It's really that simple. It's kind of crazy. It's, when we go into unconditional love and when we're self-accepting and when we're in our authentic, bright, vibrant light that isn't in comparison to anyone else, isn't in some sort of trying to figure things out based on our outside world, or trying to, what we're feeling inside, trying to affirm it by looking for something outside of ourselves to mirror it. We go into our creativity. And when we go into our creativity, we're in our divinity. We're in our highest spirituality, and there's nothing that can stop us. So I hope this message resonates. I'm sending love and wishing you well. Bye.